once again for sticking to Y254. Welcome back to the Power Talk Show. I am Cheryl Blessing and I'm taking you through the conversation of the end year burnout. I have been joined by Angie Mwangi, also called the Fixer. You're an agent of change. Sasa?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. It's a pleasure to have you joining me and Tony over here.
Nice to meet you both.
Yeah. So we are going through the conversation of the end year burnout, and we have just discovered a few things about the burnout. But before we continue with the conversation, I want to hear from you. You can do that by going to our platforms at Y254. Let me know, what is your highlight of 2024? What's the one thing that's happened in 2024 that you will take away with you? So let me know by going to our platforms, and I will sample your comments when we come back. So we've just understood that burnout is like extreme fatigue. You're just exhausted. And there are multiple ways it can express itself. It can be mental, physical, creative, and so many other ways. And we were just having a conversation where Tony umetuambia, we have to check in with our friends, we have to check up on them, we have to be intentional. Lazima tujieke before anyone else.
Exactly.
Another thing that I've noticed is so many people set goals at the beginning of 2024, but hawaja accomplish some of those goals.
Yeah.
You know, ni kama
No,
mwaka
that's another
imeenda
problem
hivyo.
now, you know.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
And how do we stay motivated, Angie? Let's say I set 10 goals.
Yeah.
Nimeachieve 3.
Yeah.
Na feel ni kama vitu haziingiani, economy ni mbaya, hakuna jobs, there's no this, there's no that. I feel like I'm burnt out. I'm no longer motivated. How do I address that?
For me, I'll speak personally, I always do them quarterly, not annually. So if I don't achieve something in the first quarter, then I move it to the next quarter. And also I set realistic goals because honestly, huwezi sema utajenga mansion na 3 months, ama na 6 months, ama na 1 year. So give yourself grace. Wewe ni binadamu. Wewe si Mungu.
Yeah.
And also, if it doesn't go according to plan, then there's a bigger and better plan. So you just need to breathe, regroup, and also stop comparison. Because I feel like I compare myself to you. She's bought a car, or she's done this, she's lost weight, she's done that. It's your own journey, and you do it at your own pace, as long as you're consistent and you're moving forward.
I like that. And I think that also it adds to what Tony said about focusing on yourself instead of focusing on sisi kama community.
Yes.
What's Gen Z tunafanya nini, Nairobi tumedu Kenya. Focus on what you can do, what is within your limit. But also it becomes harder when you feel like how grow. Una feel ni kama vitu hazi happen venye unataka. Exactly, you feel stuck because there are people who they have the education, they have the experience, but kitu moja tu imekosa kuingiana. Labda hujapata job mwaka yote, labda hujapata bibi, labda hujapata bwana. You know, and those small things can really discourage you. Uko like, I've been waiting for 4 years, 5 years, or even just 1 year. And you feel like, vitu haziingiani. Tony, how do you deal with that? How do you continue? Because venye Anje nasema, you have to focus on yourself. But in addition to that, kama bado na focus on myself, lakini bado niko na hiyo feeling ya hata sina motivation. Sasa what's the point of doing all this? How do you deal with that?
But mimi nasemanga pia kila mtu anakuwa na time yake. Una get? Usikuwe na pressure ya mtu mwingine. Unajua God anakublessing in different ways. Kama wewe mwenyewe umeshindwa ku accomplish nini zenye ulijisetia, tulia tu. Unajua ukianza kukuwa na pressure ya watu wengine ati I was in school with this guy but now already he has a Benz. Amejenga nini? Utakuwa mentally, you know, utaanza kuwa na umeanza kushikwa na wasiwasi nini, unaanza tu unaona tu wewe ni useless. So hiyo pia inaletanga burnout. Unaona? Yeah, so at least mimi nasema we mwenyewe if umeona kuna goals uliset and the way amesema huwezi kuwa ati tuseme tu for example tuseme tu wewe ni tot na mwaka ikianza unasema mimi yenyewe mimi nataka kununua gari yangu, the same time nataka kujenga nyumba yangu. Set vitu zenye unawezana. Umeona? Mwaka ikianza sema tu kama ni bibi, unajua from January to December, that's a very good time for you to get a wife. Ni sawa. Accomplish hiyo, sema nimeshukuru Mungu nimepata bi. Tena kama kuna kitu kingine yenye unaweza ona ati mimi yenyewe nataka kujenga maybe home kadogo tu home. Yaani vitu zenye unaweza wezana tu yani. Usikuwe na pressure ya watu wase mob. Na hiyo kitu nimerealize na wase by the way, unapata mtu alienda shule na msee. Alafu hii social media unapata amepost. Mimi nimejenga nyumba yangu kwa mansion. mimi nimenunua gari langu hapo hivyo niko fiti, and unapata una find au wase wana fake life. Unajua sasa wewe unaweza kuwa unabishana na mtu ana fake life, ana hizo ana na wewe pia uko hapo unapigwa na stress kila siku, mimi nitakuwa nayo lini? Unaanza kuwa na wasiwasi ya wizi nini, you know. At the end of it unakuwa nakuwa noma.
So unafaa tu focus on yourself.
On yourself.
Pole pole tu.
Jikaze tu. Hiyo kazi yako kidogo yenye uko nayo wewe jikaze.
Itajipa.
Mungu akikuongeza tena cheo kesho yake, wewe mshukuru, alafu ongeza hiyo goal yenye ulikuwa umenini hivyo hivyo.
Now sasa if we look at the alternative, instead of kuangalia watu wanafanya nini, unaangalia circumstances. Because venye tumesema 2024 has been heavy, particularly for Kenyans. So much has happened. Let's say I'm a business owner. Nimeanza kutaksiwa. Kidogo maandamano, shop yangu imevunjwa. There's a shop I've been walking past in town since the protest. Unfortunately, people broke into the shop, and it was an electrical shop.
That's so sad.
Laptops, nini, zilibebwa zote.
Oh dear.
That man or lady has not opened that shop since. Aja fix hata madirisha, aja fix anything. It's on Kimathi Street. So what about someone who's discouraged? Akona burnout because ame put in all this money, ame invest, amefanya hivi, but the environment haiko conducive. Bado hana motivation, clients hawaingii, labda inflation do hiyo, you know, just everything is not going your way, and it's because of the environment. It's not because of people, because of this or that. How do you deal with that, Angie?
Firstly, change the environment, or take a breather. Take some time out and say, let me just retract to regroup. Kwa sababu umeshafanywa hizo vitu zote, it wasn't, and I'm assuming maybe akona insurance, but kama ana insurance, even worse. So obviously ukikuwa in those positions, you need to take precaution beforehand and ensure your business. I know it's not something that's common, but I think the way the country is going, we need to do that. But also you need to take some time off and regroup and just sit in the stillness and in the silence, because it's already happened. For example, you're stuck in traffic. You're already stuck in the traffic. There's nothing you can do about it. Yani hata ukasirike, ulie, ucheke, ulale kwa flow, traffic iko hapo, kumenyesha, hauwezi move. So it's the same thing. Of course it's sad, but also think about also all the good times that you had prior, and then focus on that and say, you know what, before I started the business, I had nothing. And I did it before, and I'm going to do it again. But you need to take some time off and go through the emotions, because you can't just tell someone, it's so ignorant to tell someone, oh, don't worry, you'll be okay. No, you're not going to be okay. You lost your business, you're going through a lot. So you still need to take time, go through the emotions, and then move forward.
I like that, because lazima, you have to accept.
You have to accept and acknowledge.
Because if you're in denial, then you can't deal with it.
You can't.
Because I look at that shop and I feel so sad, because mseni kama alikuwa discouraged completely.
Hadi mwenyewe sasa unajiuliza ako wapi yani.
You
know, every time I walk past, I'm like, oh my God, maybe we should come together and contribute something to fix imekuwa mbaya. And now we also have the creative side. Wewe unafeel ni kama uko motivated, lakini unafika pahali uko na hiyo burnout. You're no longer inspired. There is nothing new, because we've come across this phrase of there is nothing new under the sun. So every time you look around, uko like, imefanyika. Kama Tony sai, you're a comedian. Unaandika line, watu washacheka hiyo story. Unaenda kuandika script, watu washafanya hiyo story.
Exactly.
So how do you deal with creative burnout, and how do you overcome it so that you're still productive throughout?
Unajua mimi nasemaga, if you're a comedian, be real first of all, and be you. You know, by the way, whatever you have said, ilishanifanyikia. There's a time nilikuwa na idea, I was to do it, but sasa sikuwa na props nilikuwa nafaa kufanya nayo nini. Within no minute a Nigerian did it, a Nigerian comedian. Exactly. Because yeye alikuwa na everything yenye ilikuwa inahitajika. So after hapo unasemaga tu let me try another content. Hivyo tu. So pia wenye wanasemaga tu try whatever you have. Kama unaweza kuwa na content but hauna vinyo unaweza ipiga, like wait after vitu, fanya kitu yenye uko nayo kwanza. Unaona kama saa hii unasema wewe, tuseme wewe kama wewe unataka kupiga content ya karao, you can't get the uniforms. So achana na hiyo content, try whatever you have. Kama unataka kupiga content kwa hoteli, mahoteli ziko mob, wewe ndio ongelesha mwenyewe piga content. Kitu yenye unaweza access virahisi. But ukijipea pressure, unaweza kuwa na mawazo nini, unasema content haijipi. Alafu pia watu unapata mtu anaingia kwa content creation na mentality ya naingia leo kesho inanilipa. Pressure inaingia hapo. Unaona sasa hapo sasa unaona pia hapa iwezi. And you find people trying so many things na wana give up as a GP. Usiaikuwa na mentality ati ukue ulipwe mapema yani before ujipush.
So ufanye na passion.
Fanya na passion.
Usifanye ukifikiria compensation, pesa, sijui nini.
And you find kuna wenye wanaendanga stage unapata umepanga line zako vizuri. Unaingianga unapata msee acheki. Unaona? Yani zimegonga uwezo. Hadi ile ya mwisho ulikuwa umejipanga nayo hiyo taua. Tena wacheki. You feel disappointed of course. So msee kama huyo pia ana feel kuna venye tu hajanaisika na content creation yake. So mimi nasemaga hizo pia ni challenges venye tu sasa wewe business woman or man mwenye amepitia hizo. So hizo ni challenges pia zinakuwa kwa content creation. Wewe jijue wewe nini, wewe keep on moving.
I like that. Because regardless, you know, everyone won't appreciate the things that you can offer. Na bado for every craft watu wanasemanga overnight success, lakini ni mtu amefanya kazi 5 years behind the scene haijaonekana. So hiyo yenye moja ilijipa ndio watu wanaona. Now to flip it as we wrap up the conversation on the types of burnout, kwa relationship naweza kuwa nimedate mtu 1 year 2 years nimechoka. Even kwa marriage, you know, sometimes you're hanging out, especially this happened during COVID, because you're too present with mko tu kwa nyumba, mimi tuna mtu wangu, ndio unaanza kurealize kumbe anarushanga socks kwa mlango, kumbe hata hawezi fanya hivi, vyombo ameacha kila mahali, you know, and then you get to a point where you're exhausted, you umechoka tu na mtu, you know, and it's a relationship. Potentially you want to get to marriage. If it's you're dating, you want to get to marriage. If it's marriage, you want to last a lifetime. But kuna hizo times zenye utafeel tu nimechoka na umsi. Nimechoka tu na hii situation. How do you go through that, Angie?
First of all, siko kwa relationship but
wacha tutaflipia pia. Tony
lakini for me the problem is people enter into relationships seeking happiness from the partner. You can't, it's impossible. Because I'm coming in as a different individual, you're a different individual. You need to be two different individuals and you're coming together the same way you come to the office to work. Sometimes you have good days, other times you have bad days, but you still go there because you're getting paid. So you still have to, something has to motivate you to stay. Because honestly, I think to myself, and maybe that's why I delayed, looking at the same person like for years, unaamka tu unamwangalia. Same person next to you. So you have to find things that also make you an individual on your own. Then when ako peke yake huko peke, then you come and meet, unajua hata ma stories zinakuwa mob. Unamwambia hata hivi mnapiga ma stories. So I think people enter into marriage because they're lonely and you don't want to be, and that's the biggest mistake. It's not supposed to be like that.
You need to be whole in your, as a person.
Because even you as a person, how are you going to, you're not capable of making someone else. Umepiga ma jokes zako, you want to go to the house and just sit still and quiet, utaki hata kuongea. Then mtu atakumfanyia jokes kwa nyumba.
Na ni job, ushachoka. Imagine. And you know there are people who genuinely, they'll wait for someone to come and add value to their life. And come and be the happiness, make me whole.
That's
you know?
the biggest mistake.
Yeah, it is. But sasa Tony, wewe ndio at least umekuwa in marriage for a few months. The last time we were here, we were talking to you and your wife. You met during the Maandamano protest, and it was such a beautiful journey. Oh my God! It was so cute. When we meet Maandamano, like girls, sit tuko hapo tuna protest for our rights. Watu mapenzi. Wanachekesha baby girl. And being married, I hear that the first year is usually one of the trickiest. Because you're trying to get to know someone, you're trying to blend your families, you're still trying to be your own person. How do you deal with hizo times zenye unafeel ni kama leo bibi yangu amenichosha lakini bado nampenda? How do you keep on being in a relationship, in a partnership like that, regardless of sometimes when you feel exhausted, when you feel stressed, and all the challenges?
Okay, you know, venye tu umesema it's true. You know, first time lazima, you know, umetoka kwa ile yenye huko na mtu and now umepata mtu. So hii kitu hii kuflip, like kuswitch pia ni kitu inaweza kuaffect. So usipokuwa rada inaweza kuumiza. So me what I always do, the same way venye Angie amesema, unaweza kuwa umeenda job then unarudi home, mtu tena like anataka kumfanyia vitu ulikuwa unafanya huko. Sometimes maybe uko exhausted. You just need to rest. Yeah, a very cool place ya So mimi by the way to avoid all those inakuwa kwa nini kugombana nini, napendanga niende tu to avoid arguments.
Yeah.
Uwe uende and maybe utakuja time yenye ametulia then muendelee na lakini sasa unajua tuseme you want to argue, at the end of the day hakuna kitu mna solve. Yeah, mtakuwa mnagombana tu bure, unaona. Yeah.
And I like your approach here, moving away from you kukosana, because unajua mara nyingi hizo confrontation mkiwa kwanza umejam mwenzako amejam, it can get into something that it wasn't even. Labda ni njaa tu. Unajua sasa kwa tu unasikia njaa.
Ama unasikia tu. By the way nilisikia kuna wenye wakisikia njaa na jam.
Wacha nikwambie ukweli. Ndikwe unaona zile stories zenye umeacha food kwa nyumba, umekuwa unaifikiria tu, unasema guy nikifika tu home naenda kukula hii food. Unafika kwa fridge unapata mtu ashakula
kitambo. Obviously utajam.
Unajua vitu kama hizo ndogo ndogo zinaweza trigger. And sometimes if you deal with things in the heat of the moment, it can escalate into something that it's bigger than hata even when you look at workspaces, saa ingine umechoka tu. Na ukijibisha boss wako ukiwa umechoka, unaweza sema the wrong things. You can get yourself into more trouble than you intended. And it's just something simple. And I like that we've broken down a few types of burnout and how to address them. But now generally, how do we get through? Because 2024 basically imeisha. We just have next week na tunaingia 2025. Mwaka imeisha, kuna vitu zenye labda tulikuwa tunatarajia hazijafanyika. Kuna vitu zenye tunataka bado kuendelea. Na unajua sometimes even for ladies we feel like the years are going by, I've not accomplished this, I've not done that. If I'm being honest, I have been feeling the pressure. I've been feeling like kuna nafani kwenda kimbia, like I should be doing something. And sometimes I just feel exhausted. I'm not motivated, I'm not inspired, I don't want to do anything, but I still have to do some things to get to where I need to be. So, Angie, what do we do? How do we stay inspired? How can we stay motivated even through the burnout? How do we accept that 2024 imeisha, but next year I am setting, the way you've even said, quarterly, because Q4 imeisha. Ndo imeenda. Now we're going back to Q1 again. How do you stay motivated to still pursue those goals that you haven't accomplished?
Firstly, get yourself a gratitude journal. Give thanks for everything that has already happened. Then, with that, you're going to see, you know, I was telling my followers, write 300 things that you're grateful for, like in this year. And guys exceeded the list because there's so much that happens and you really underestimate because you're so focused on what you don't have.
Yeah.
And also, take a day off, like a day off not to watch TV, not to do these things, but just to sit with nature because people walk in Karura. Like these free things, enda Uhuru Park. Tandika hapo Masai blanket, sit there and just soak in the nature and just look around you and see how beautiful it can get.
Yeah.
And then also another thing, if you can afford to take a holiday, take a holiday. Like me, I just came back from holiday. Go on holiday even when it's low season and just ataka kwa resort, hakuna watu, tembea kwa beach and utarudikiwa so fresh and so, you know. And then also avoid hanging out with people that are, I call them energy vampires. They just feed off your energy.
Yeah.
Constantly complaining, constantly bad-mouthing people, constantly talking about their personal things because people don't have boundaries. I'm coming to trauma dump on you. Oh, you know, my boyfriend did this, my husband did this. Oh, my job is like this. Also maintain those boundaries with yourself because you're also living your life.
Yeah.
You can't be carrying everyone around. Carrying your job, carrying your finances and everything. So you need to put boundaries with everything. I think just start with those steps and then give yourself grace. Yeah, and rest. Avoid TV, avoid social media. Take a day off the week and say, or just, because me, I limit social media. As much as people think I'm always online, because like I post a lot, I'm only online 30 minutes a day. 30 minutes a day, 10 to 10:30. Sometimes maybe if I get an hour in the evening, my time is scheduled. Every hour, I know 8 to 10 I'm doing this, 10 to 10:30. So you don't have any idle time. Yeah. And when you have free time, then you can add value to yourself. You can do like a masterclass. You can do something. And then it will increase your skills and then it will propel you towards your goals. So I think people waste too much time, and then at the end of the year, because let me tell you, it's not like I injured my foot and I've had 2 surgeries this year. So, you know, you're just laying in bed. You could scroll through TikTok the whole day. And not even shower, and not even eat, nothing.
You won't even realize.
Yeah, but people don't understand it really consumes a lot of your mental space because you're always exhausted. So you're exhausted, like, you know, seeing me dancing online, seeing you doing this, like we're sitting, like just things that are not beneficial to you. Then you're exhausted. Then at the end of the year, you wasted the whole year.
Yeah. I like that because I actually came across a creator who was saying the 1 hour it takes you to scroll through social media, you can use that time to explore a new city. You can use that time to explore a new town. It's more than enough for you to go somewhere new and discover.
And also, in addition to that, if you can't afford to go to the new city, go to YouTube and then search 4K walks New York. It's just a video of somebody walking in New York, showing New York, England, and you feel like you're there. It's even better than scrolling through like social media, like, oh, this person has broken up with this person and this one, and
you're getting consumed in the drama. Sometimes hata watu wajuangi penye wanaishi. Hata kwa mimi najua naishi hapa, mama mboga ni hapo, stage ni pale.
Exactly.
Beyond that, I don't know. Like literally, I have a friend who's the same. Where I live, there's a river, there's a forest, so I like to take walks. I asked this young guy, do you know there's a river? Do you know where the river is? I was just napiga tu story. Ako like, haya, huku kuna river. Nikamwambia kwani umeishi huku how long? Because autembeangi around. Clueless about that. And that social media, mindless media, which I like to call sometimes, it makes you drained. It doesn't really add value. I like what you've said about first you have to recognize and then you have to give yourself the grace and find ways to appreciate the things that you've already done and things that have already happened that are good, and then, you know, redirect energy yako into something else. Now, Tony, what about you? What do you do to get motivated? How do you get new inspiration? Because I know for the digital creation field, you have to be on your toes. You have to come up with something new every other day, and it's difficult when most of the things have already been done. Most of the things, kuna creator mwingine amesha release the same thing and all that. How do you get new inspiration and new stories and new ways of even telling the narratives that you have?
I think, you see, with me, personally with me, I always go through, I do a research. Even if you're a creator, sometimes you do research because unaweza fanya kitu upate ulikuwa umefanya kitu ya wenyewe. And then unaiachilia tu hivi, watu wanaanza ku criticize, una get? Like where you are not creative, you're doing some other people's content. Na pia mimi nasemaga jikubali venye uko. Unajua, I love someone, there's a friend of mine called Tieno Martin. What he used to do, wakati anatoa content, anapea kwanza wife yake, anaangalia. Alikuwa ananiambia wife yake akicheka, anai-release. Because, you know, mwenye umezoeana na yeye ni ngumu sana cheke joke yako. Do you know that?
So really?
Mtu umezoeana
na kucheka tu juu anafurahisha.
Na pia
Unampenda.
Tunampenda. Ndio usimwache. So kuna ways of keeping yourself going. Unaona, you just keep yourself going with different ways.
I like that. Lazima tu wewe mwenyewe utafute tu a fresh angle.
Exactly.
Something.
Unajua kama kuna content fulani unataka kutoa, unafaa uangalie angle utaiachilia nao say. Because let me tell you something, with us content creators, if you have ideas, unakaga hivi, unajua wa Kenya pia kuna vitu mingi kwa akili. Unaweza toa content yako wewe unaona imekubamba, lakini wewe venye utatusiwa hapo nje. So you just have to know how to release your videos ndio ifurahishe wasee. Na pia usi-release ukifikiri kila mtu ataicheka. Una get? Unafaa tu kuwe tu mjanja nini kuwe tu rada yako tu yani.
Uko tu open minded. I like that.
Let me go back kidogo kwa mambo na marriage. Niko nasema can you please marry your friend? Don't marry just like that. Usimarry ati watu wana marry. Marry your friend. Unajua kuna watu marry na pressure. Watu una marry atufurahishe mtu. Ati huyu mtu nimekaa naye sana, I have to marry her. No. Just marry your friend. Hakunanga raha mzuri kama umemarry your friend. You people mtakuwa mnakopoa. I know kwa relationship hakunanga hizo I mean lazima kuna arguments, but if you marry your friend you'll know how to overcome those.
I like that. Now I think that's one advice in watu wanasemanga, even date your friend.
It's
better ukue friends do you get there.
Exactly.
Because mnaelewana.
Na
unajua mapenzi huisha. mapenzi inaweza punguka, si ati itaisha, but kuna season yenye mapenzi imepunguka. Alafu kuna season yenye napenda umse, like you know, all these things they it's up and down. I look at people who've spent maybe 20 years together, 25 years together, na bado wako na ako ka spark. Unajua urafiki inasaidia. Alafu being an individual, being your own person adds value, because when you're not relying on someone to be your happiness, be your joy, be your peace, then it's easy for you to exist in a relationship. Yeah, I really like that. Let me read some of the comments you guys have shared about what your highlight of 2024 is before I ask our guests. Natani Joy Mwaka. Highlight ni gani? So from Facebook we have Simon Peter who said, for me it has been a very short year with a lot of unaccomplished things. I'm sorry about that, Saimo. Ranking Shanta amesema Muranga tuko live, asanti. Sheriff Eldoret ako pamoja na sisi, and so is John Moas who is from Nyandarua Olkalu. And what Simon Peter has said is actually something I haven't come across for the first time. I was having an interview with someone who's also telling me this year hakuna kitu ameaccomplish. Like imwaka imeenda tu, like aijambamba kabisa.
But possible.
Yeah,
possible.
it's very possible. And you know, unfortunately, it's because sometimes we don't even focus on the small things that, the way Angie you've said, the small things that I have life, niko healthy.
You can walk.
Exactly. I can walk. Sija disappear, you know.
Na unalala unaamka.
Unalala unaamka. So it's the small things that we have to remember to be grateful for, because bado tuko na time. Because 2024 ending does not mean maisha imeisha. It's a wrap for us. We still have time. Now I want to find out from you guys. What has been your highlight of 2024? Let me start with Angie.
Firstly, it's just been a very tough year for me because obviously my health has really been affected. But on now impacting other people, because I call myself, people call me an influencer, content creator. No, I'm just an agent of change, because content creation for me is just my diary, like what I would want to hear from someone else. So I started donating Bibles, and I'd put a target of 10 Bibles by December. But I donated 230 Bibles. And, you know, for me, like 230 people now have Bibles because I decided to use my social media for them and not for myself. And also just all the people who are telling me, oh, you know, because I've been listening to you, my life has changed in this way. So many people have stopped sleeping around, which I really appreciate. Like, people are preserving their dignity because I'm speaking about abstinence and all these things. And just all the feedback that I've been getting, that for me has really been, honestly, a highlight. Like every day there's just, they push me to move forward. Like, oh, these people need you, you can't give up. Even when I've been low, they've lifted me up with like, oh no, you haven't posted today, what's happening? And you know, I got a new job, I got this. So people just giving me the feedback. So definitely that has been the highlight, you know.
That's amazing. I think that's very wonderful, because you've focused on what you've done for people, as opposed to what has happened to you. I like that, because unajua mara nyingi nitakuwa like, oh my god, nimenunua gari. Hiyo ndo accomplishment yangu.
Honestly, like for me, when it comes to material things and people, I get attacked a lot because I always see everything. I tell people an iPhone is a means of communication. A fridge is storage. A car is a form of movement. So I get a lot of backlash because I'm not materialistic, and it upsets a lot of people because I'm like, it's not a measure of success. You have a phone, I have a phone, doesn't matter. We are communicating, right? They were calling me and everything. So it's just personal growth, honestly, like personal growth. And the fact that I was told by the doctor, okay, just personally for me, when I dislocated my ankle, like 3 days before my birthday, and I was in Cape Town. So it was so painful. Like I planned a trip with my friends and I can't celebrate it. And then I come back, I have to go into surgery. I can't walk for 3 months. You know, they have to get showered by someone else and all these things. So just for me to get out of that dark space and, you know, like just move forward, it was a big deal, because we underestimate, like, you not being able to walk, like to shower, to do anything. We forget how blessed we are because of having a functional body, you know.
I love that, because the personal growth and the things that have happened to you, that's absolutely beautiful. Tony, what about you? What's your highlight of 2024?
Okay, to me, 2024 has been a tough year. Venye tu imekuwa. everyone anasema tu kwa yule mwenye anasema 2024 imekuwa poa na huyu atupe siri bana.
Huyo ni dynasty.
Huyo ni tycoon labda. So to me naona achievement nime make hata kama si kubwa, I'm really happy for that. Yeah, because nimekuwa na life fulani yenye nilikuwa nayo mwanzo, but kwa sasa nimekuwa na another one different. Una get? Marrying is not an easy thing, and it's that's the happiest thing. Me to me, sijui mtu mwenye view atachukuaje, but mimi for real nimefurahia sana. And getting someone who understands you is also a good thing, because my wife really supports my content creation. Ako too fit hivyo, and then unajua sasa kulingana mali tulipatana, we had also to start some small organizations, at least talking to youths. Kuongelesha moja mbili tatu, youths wanafaa waongeleshwe.
To motivate, and that's what we're doing hata hapa.
Yeah, motivation muhimu. Kwanza kuna unajua majenzi wanatoanga motivation zao. Kuna mwenye alisemanga usisave sana, kula do, unaweza fika mita udedi. But let's talk to youths. Unaona, at least to
inspire.
Exactly.
I love that, and thank God Kendi amewatch akasema we bwana ame represent. But that has been so beautiful. Let me read some of the last comments we have from social media. Lillian Sitawa amesema people are strong. They struggle with peer pressure, and watching live from Soy Wasingishu. Don't worry. All these things, akuna pressure. Focus on yourself. Wycliffe Jones is watching live from Vasha Show. Iko on fire. For me, I thank God for the whole year. And I think that's a beautiful place to end this conversation. Burnout ni normal. For you to be exhausted, it's absolutely normal. Take time for yourself. Heal, recuperate, and get fresh inspiration. So this year has been a lot, but we are here. We are alive, we are healthy, and that's what matters. So I hope as we get into this Christmas season, it's going to be something that you keep in mind. Do not put so much pressure on yourself. Do not focus on anyone else's life. It's all about you. So that's it. It's been a very beautiful conversation. So we're going to see you again next Thursday between 7 and 8 p.m. We'll be live, and we'll also air this episode tomorrow between 1 and 2 p.m. A repeat of this will air. It's going to go up on YouTube as well. You can catch it there. But for now, I think it's good night. I hope next year, next week itakuwa Christmas before ni waone. So Merry Christmas in advance, guys.
Ningevaa t-shirt yangu ya Christmas.
Next time tunakuja na kakofia hata.
Tunakuja na kakofia.
Yeah, so good night, guys. Have a lovely evening. I will see you guys next week.